Good afternoon. Now for our invocation, if Mark Polson is in the room. Yay. Run fast, Mark, run fast. Will there be a fine for that if he's running in the church? Sorry.
Let us pause for a moment. Gracious God, we give you thanks today. It is always a wonderful opportunity to have this community. And today it is a special presentation about being people. So I thank you for the opportunity to share such a tremendous need. So I pray a blessing over this time, this meal, the fellowship, we pray over this.
Amen. Flag salute. Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. So I want to take just a moment this morning, afternoon, and have our flag committee members to please come to the front. These were the ones that came Saturday. David Sloan, John Murphy, Todd Deakins, Cindy Hefner, Susan Bass, Mike Bass, Rod McFarland, Jim Matthews, Mary Matthews, Tom Sanders, Carolyn Booth, Eric Peterson, and Don Pappy. Come on. So according to David and his wonderful committee, we took down 208 flags that have flown over our Grove community since the beginning of spring to Saturday. Okay? Let's give these wonderful committee a great round of applause, please. Hold on. Eric, hold up. Eric. On behalf of Grove Rotary, all of these members, we have some gift cards in here for you guys. So please go and have a cocktail, have a drink, have a tea, have some food. So we've got some gift cards in there for you. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you guys so very much. Yeah, David has to share with you, so take it out with David.
I'll get them out.
Okay. All right. Our Sergeant of Arms today, again, is Susan Bass. So just hold on, Susan. Come on up here.
Okay. Now, I don't know why when they said food bank, that they needed somebody who knows a lot about food, but they called me right off. I'm not sure. And I'm eager to hear about the food bank, but I can tell you about food. So food has a universal language to it. It speaks in various flavors, textures, and aromas. But beyond that, the sensory experience, it has some fascinating little tidbits about it. For instance, we all know oranges get the great glory for having lots of vitamin C in it. But I ask you guys, okay, first of all, this is for scholarship, and I'll penalize you, but it's not for the visitors themselves. So, you people who think you know food, oranges get the most hoopla for having lots of vitamin C. But there's a vegetable that 1 cup of this vegetable has more vitamin C in it than a full orange. What is that vegetable? Who said broccoli? Oh, nobody said broccoli. Broccoli is right. If you didn't, I would charge it. Broccoli has more, and you know, what you could say about broccoli is, gosh, some people don't like it. But there's more of good stuff about broccoli. Broccoli actually has more protein than steak. So just think you could lather up a big slice of broccoli. I wouldn't either. There is a famous president, George Bush Sr., who said of broccoli, I don't like broccoli, and I'm the President of the United States, and I don't have to eat it. Not real popular. But so let me ask you, what is popular? What's the most popular beverage in the world by survey? Did anybody say coffee? I hope not, because I will fine you for it. Coffee is the world's most popular beverage. Of course, you can get it normal coffee, you can get it cappuccino, you can get espresso, stuff like that. All right, let's try this one. Let me give you another one. There is a common berry that most everybody likes, that we eat all the time, that's not even really a berry. Got any idea what that would be? Did I hear strawberry? It's got it in its name. How could it not be a berry? Okay, as a consolation prize, there's another fruit that one wouldn't think that is a berry that really is. Any ideas? No, it would be banana. Banana is considered a berry. Okay, this classification is based on the botanical structure of the fruit. And to be a berry, you have to come from a single seed. Banana comes from a single seed? How about that? So maybe I don't know food quite as well as I thought it did. Okay, bonus question, specifically with my husband in mind. Not good food, but McDonald's is not the oldest food chain out there. What is the oldest food chain? Who said White Castle? Correctamente. Awesome. So, you guys, if I stumped you, pay $1. If I didn't stump you, pay $1. Thanks, you guys.
Our Rotarian today is Jeff Lundgren, and we were told earlier that he's a little under the weather, so please keep Jeff in your thoughts and prayers. Our students of the month, Rowan and Isaac, great to have you guys here with us today. Yay. Our guest with Connie King, Carol, how do you pronounce your last name? Mercies? Perfect. Carol, glad to have you with us today. And Tara Oakey is with Amanda. Wonderful to have Tara with us. And then Bobby Kreutz, you're not a guest. You're just Bobby Kreutz, our wonderful Bobby. And we want to thank always Kim with Timbered In Catering. Wonderful job. The honey is amazing, by the way. Thank you so much. And if Diane will come forward with Amanda, we have a blue badge presentation.
Okay, I have one blue badge today. This outstanding, well, she's not a future Rotarian now. Now she's an official Rotarian, but a great addition to Rotary and what she does out in the community. She works for Grandwood Living Assisted Living, but she's joined the From the Heart Committee with Louise, and then she's also working with Second Chance Rescue to bring in the dogs, kind of like how Louise does the Claire's Reading Project, but where her residents will be reading to the dogs. So she's working on that right now with her job duties and among other things. But anyway, let's congratulate Amanda Ogden on receiving her blue badge.
Let Sandy get a picture, Diane. Welcome. Tara, if you will come forward for just a second, please. Tara is at the Miami Rotary, so while she's traveling here with us, we'd like to present you with a traveling flag from Grove. Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks so much. the stage while you're coming to make those announcements. I also want to remind you that our Grove Ridge football team, King Isaac over here, we are in the second round of the playoffs. We are playing at Tuttle. What time does that game start? Isaac, 7? Okay. They are leaving, as you can see up here, they're leaving at Friday at 11:15, and they'll be going from the school down 7th to Main. So please, let's line the streets if we're not able to make it to that game and give our players, our coaches, the band, the cheerleaders a good send-off. Okay, let's do that for them, and let's bring home that second round playoff win, okay? It is live stream again, and it's also going to be on the radio, so please get those tuned up.
And we will be out in front of DK's, the chamber team will, so if anybody wants to join us for the send-off, we'd love to have you. So just a quick announcement, if you were here last week, you would have got 4 tickets for Shop Grand Lake. If you were not here and did not get your 4 tickets, see Diane Hampton, she's got the tickets back there at the back table. So you get 2 tickets for your membership dues in November, and you get 2 tickets for your membership dues in December. The Rotary is one of our sponsors for this event, and I will tell you, we do Sparkle and Shine giveaways every week, and we put all the participating merchants in a bucket, and we draw them out, and we drew Rotary out today. So when we get done with the program today, we will draw a ticket out of the box, and I think we have, what's the 2 amounts we have left? $100 and maybe $150 cash. It'll be one of those 2 amounts. So we'll have this on the Facebook page later, the chambers, what that ticket winner was. So go home and grab your tickets and get on there and see if you're one of the lucky winners. So thank you, Rotary, for participating.
Thank you for this. And so, as you will notice, both of our sound guys were not able to make it today, and we are so very thankful for Devin from Church on the Hill. He is subbing for us today, so please give him a large round of applause for handling that duty for us. With no further announcements, Robert Carter is going to be introducing our program this morning.
Before I introduce our guest, I want to put the rumors to bed. They are not reading my sermons at Second Chance to put the dogs to sleep, so I just want to let y'all know right now, that is not how my sermons are getting used. You heard that? I just figured someone would say that. It is a privilege for me to introduce our speaker today. I can tell you that as a Rotarian, one who's been really involved in this community and involved in the ministry aspects of this community and seeing the needs that we have, I suspect most of us have no understanding of truly how significant the needs are. But I also will tell you that if you look up the word hero in the dictionary, you'll see things like people who do amazing feats, big, and the pictures of heroes are also big, fancy, strong, beefy-looking guys with shields and all that. I will tell you, most heroes come in very small packages. Our speaker today is one of my heroes. I've known Pat for over 13 years, and she joined us at the food pantry 11 years ago, and what she has done to transform that place is legendary. And so I'm honored that she could be here to speak to us today and share, I think some of the numbers that she's going to probably share with you today will probably blow your mind about what goes on in Grove, America, but they're significant. So if you would, give me a great round of applause for Pat Dalke, an amazing, amazing hero.
Well, that was uncalled for. Before I forget, I put some of these rack cards on the table, and it tells you a little bit about the pantry. You can take that home with you, and you have some resource information about us. My favorite little thing here, though, is the business card that we have made. And it doesn't have my name on it, so you can put Pat on there if you want to, but I wanted to make sure that the volunteers could use these as well, because the really great thing about it is they have a QR code, and it'll take you right to our Facebook page. I love that. So, having said that, good afternoon.
To begin with, I love Grove, Oklahoma. I moved here in 2006, and I have fallen in love with this town. I can't think of any place else I'd rather live. And Grove Rotary is one of those reasons I believe this community is so special. Your organization is a shining example of what it looks like when people genuinely live out their principle of service above self. Over the years, I've seen or heard of your service projects literally everywhere. And from promoting literacy to building recreational parks to the City Flag Project, which I love, by the way, and so many other visible efforts, yet there are so many quiet acts of service that go on behind the scenes, such as scholarships and charitable grants. Through these grants, you've made an extraordinary impact. I know for us, we have received several grants. You helped us with computers and with the purchase of a walk-in refrigerator, and most recently with some surveillance cameras, which are far better than we had before. And most recently, through with United Way visiting us, we were able to, they came here to visit Rotary to assess our community needs. We were able are grateful for the opportunity to present our program for consideration. So we're in the process. We're in that process, and that's exciting. So when you look around this town, it seems like Rotary is involved in just about everything that strengthens this community, including the food pantry. And we're deeply grateful for your ongoing partnership with us. So I want to tell you a little bit about the past, a little bit about the present, a little bit about the future. So in the 1990s, as Grove was expanding, there was a lot of building going on, but with that, there were more and more families that were beginning to go to the local churches for food assistance. And in response to that, the Grove Ministerial Alliance was formed and incorporated in 1997 to create a single, reliable location where people could receive emergency food assistance. For 27 years, we've been operating from the same building. We have not only served Grove residents, but an increasing number of households across Delaware County. What started as a ministry of mercy, known as the Christian Help Center, has evolved into what is now the food pantry of Grove, Oklahoma. It's a community-supported resource sustained by a growing network of partners throughout the county. As for the present, I guess I would have to say I'm a part of the present. I've been the director since 2014. And at that time, when I first came on board, we served less than 150 families or households in a typical month. Currently, that number has climbed to 600 pretty consistently. And in October, because of the SNAP benefit freeze, demand surged us to 757 households, our highest month ever. Today, we're on track to meet or exceed that number again before the end of November. On the first Monday of this month, we set a record for the highest number served in a single day of 102 households. Now, our volunteers, true to their calling, stepped up to meet the challenge in a heroic way. It was a sight to behold. As you can imagine, the rising demand and the rising cost of food has begun to stretch our resources. The more people we serve, the more food we need to stock our pantry with. But before we can feed families, we must keep the operation running. So I want to share with you a little bit about what that looks like. So in any operation, you have labor costs, you have building, your building, overhead and maintenance and repair costs. So as for labor cost, you're looking at the only paid employee. When I first began at the pantry, I could work as little as 20 hours a week. It was truly a great part-time job. But over the time, it has grown to where I probably put in about 40 hours a week now. I don't take off Tuesdays anymore, and I'm coming in earlier now, which is unusual for me because I'm a late morning person. Then I stay later in the afternoon, but I try not to stay till past dark time. But I just want to assure you that my salary is modest. It's not over the top, but it is enough to just to have an incentive to ensure that there's a consistency of dependable leadership even during periods of growth. It's enough. And but however, I just want to point out that the real heroes in our organization, they don't get paid. They're the heart of our mission, and there's no way to put a price on what their time and their strength and their compassion are to us because it's priceless. As for building costs, we're fortunate that we own the building, and that's a tremendous financial advantage. We don't have to worry about paying a mortgage. But as for if we don't have a mortgage, we still have to pay overhead costs. We have to keep the lights on. We have to keep the water running. We have to keep the freezers and the refrigerators cold. We need to keep the heat and air conditioning running and pay for other operational costs. This includes paying for electricity, water, and trash removal, bottled water for the volunteers, Wi-Fi and phone service, office equipment and supplies like markers and box cutters. We use a lot of those. Trash bags, paper bags, Ziploc bags, a lot of bags. We use paper towels and cleaning supplies, and it just goes on and on. And all of these monthly costs are essential in order to keep our pantry running. Now, as for maintenance and repairs, in addition to electrical repairs, such as replacing fluorescent lights with LED lighting, which is so much better now, repairs to plumbing and sewage, and yes, we've had problems with those things in the past. We have major equipment that we have to maintain because food safety is non-negotiable. When freezers or refrigerators fail, we must respond immediately. Now, if one of these things were to go down, for example, if the walk-in freezer would just die, it would cost probably $20,000 to replace that. And the same thing for the walk-in cooler, it'd be about $15,000 or so. But luckily, these pieces of equipment are pretty new. Our freezer is 7 years old, and the cooler is 2. So we only need to maintain these units in order for them to serve us very well for many years to come. Now we have 4 residential upright freezers that we use, and they're over 10 years old, and they're starting to go one at a time. And so that will be an expense that we will have to be facing as they need to be replaced. We also maintain 2 HVAC units. They were put in before I came, probably about maybe during that year prior to my coming. So I'm guessing they're about 11 years old. And one of them did go down this summer, and so we had to replace that to the tune of $3,800. Now we have been battling this problem of our parking area, and it's just been horrendous. We were recently, just the last couple of weeks, able to get that improved vastly. So the need for that was to improve the parking area for the volunteers, and then make it so that the clients could easily maneuver in and out, and it's so much better. That would have cost about $6,500, but with the generous excavation company that did the work for us, they donated their labor and the equipment cost, their cost to run the equipment. And so they only charge us $3,250. And so this is a perfect example to me of community partnership and at its very best. Now, all those things, just the overhead operating cost, kind of give you a good idea. And that's before we even buy any food or put any food in the pantry on our shelves. So where do we get food? How does it come to us? How do we get it? Well, there's 3 ways. In October, we received 31,100 pounds of food, which was really up from prior months quite a bit, but because usually it's like 22 to 24,000. Now, we purchase food from the food bank of Eastern Oklahoma in Tulsa, and at a reduced cost. So, for example, we purchased 14,000 pounds from Tulsa for about $4,900. There's a program called Feeding America, and it is where the retailers partner with the food bank to help us use food that would normally been discarded. So from Walmart and Harps and Dollar General and Starbucks, we received 11,378 pounds, and that's at no cost. Now, what we have been enjoying and seeing and marveling through the past few years, and especially these last few months, are the community donations. In this last month in October, we received 5,697, almost 6,000 pounds of food. So that's about a total of 31,000 pounds, and it may sound like a lot, but the estimated number or amount of food that was distributed was about 24,000 to those 757 people. It's going to be higher this month because, well, just to give you some information about what we dealt with in the last 3 weeks, when the news came out about the freeze of the SNAP program. By the end of November, the first week of November, we'd already served 287 households. That's about 7,000 pounds. And by the end of the second week, that number grew to 476 households, or about 12,000 pounds. And that's a conservative amount, I'm sure of it. But, you know, you think about, we were serving 600 on a monthly basis. After 2 weeks in November, we already served almost 500. So that was quite an astounding 2 weeks. But without the generosity of the Grove Public Schools and community members who responded to the news of the SNAP benefits shutdown, along with the food that we purchased, we were able to have food on our shelves. But if we hadn't had that, we would have been completely empty. The shelves would have been bare. It would have had nothing within the first few days of November. Now, as for the future, as more and more households struggle with the effects of a strained economy and a fluctuating public assistance program, reliance on food pantries will continue to grow. Research also shows that access to food doesn't just address hunger. It also contributes to safer and more stable communities by reducing food-related stress and desperation. Although the SNAP benefits are resuming, it's unlikely that our numbers will return to pre-freeze numbers or levels. Families have found us. They know where we're at now. They're coming from Ottawa County. They're coming from Craig County. They call us all over now. Pardon me. So, so since early November, we've been doing a new thing this year. We certify new clients, and just since the 1st of November, we've filled out 110 new certification forms, and that tells us 2 things. First of all, it tells us that people who have not been to the pantry for almost a year are starting to come back. And it also tells us that we are receiving people who were suffering from or affected by the SNAP program. So that's a lot of new people that are coming to the pantry in just a short amount of time. As our need grows, so does the need for everything else, volunteers, food, everything across the board. But there's good news as far as the volunteers are concerned. We have a remarkable group of volunteers, about 30 to to 35. And they come in every week and they're excited and they work hard, they're dedicated. They also initiate food drives within their circle or sphere of influence. They spread awareness and they inspire others to become involved. People often discover opportunities to serve at their church and through businesses and community organizations. Within our volunteer base, we have a strong advisory board now, and that provides strength to our organization and promises a stability for years to come. But you know, community partnerships are our greatest asset. We've established a reputation of reliability and accessibility and consistency. For 27 years, people in the community know that they can count on us and that we are good stewards of the things they would donate or give us, and so they count on us to help people in the community. So we have built strong relationships with businesses and schools and churches and organizations and generous individuals. Our Facebook presence continues to grow as we share the donations. You know, we share things that people donate and support that we receive. During the past few weeks, we experienced a very scary situation. It was like nothing we'd ever seen, but even compared to the days of COVID, or not even compared to the days during COVID, but a truly amazing thing happened. There has been a tremendous outpouring of generosity. As many more people were coming to the pantry for help, our supplies were dwindling, but food started to pour through our pantry like never before. Fall typically is the time of the year when we start to see increased in giving. We generally see more food drives and more money is given to us. But this fall, we have literally seen miracles happen every day. We broke another record in the food pantry when one day we received, in a single day, 1,000 pounds of food. And it was only to be toppled on another day shortly after that with 2,000. That's so much food that is just coming in the pantry. So I'm really kind of excited and about totaling up the total amount of food that was just donated this month. And I will post that on Facebook. I think it's going to be mind-blowing. As a director looking forward to the future, though, I want to start focusing on sustainability. With the rising demand, we can no longer rely on just status quo, you know, day-to-day, operate day-to-day like we have before. So we need to start seeking new avenues of fundraising, seek grant opportunities, and seek ways to sustain our community support in order to ensure a long-term stability. What this community has done for us has been great. We don't want to lose that. We want to make sure that it's appreciated and that it's followed up by letting you know how important you are to us. So as we continue to provide a reliable food assistance program, we're going to have to purchase more food, keep the utilities running longer hours, keep those freezers and refrigerators and other equipment going. And I really personally want to be a part of preparing the future for the leadership prepare for the future leadership by providing a foundation that will support a full-time director in the future. I tell people I have an expiration date, but I don't know what it is. And because they say, "Are you going to retire?" And I said, "Well, I'm not today." But I know the day's coming. You know, I'm 73 years old, and there'll just come a day when I think I'll know. But I want to be sure that when the next person comes behind me, they will have all the tools necessary to be able to have a smooth transition. But you know, most importantly, at the bottom, at the end of the day, what we want to do is to continue serving every family in Delaware County who needs us. That's our mission. And that's why our partnerships mean so much. So I want to thank you again for your time and the privilege of speaking to you today. Hope it wasn't too boring. And, it's just such a joy to speak to a group of like yourselves who share our vision of serving others. And when a vision is shared, it becomes something remarkable. It becomes one of the reasons why Grove, Oklahoma is truly a great place to live. And with that, I will close and take questions. I think so.
Just a quick question. The families that you serve, what is the process that they have to go through to qualify?
Well, thank you for asking. It used to be we would collect their income. We still do that. That's one thing we still do is if they're on SNAP or on Social Security, WIC, or some of the other government programs, they will qualify. If they don't qualify from those programs, generally their income will be the way they'll qualify. We used to collect a lot of information like dates of birth and addresses. But in October a year ago, they had a new rule that for USDA recipients, it's called access and parity. And so what that says is they wanted to remove all the impediments to receiving food. At first I thought, well, that's just, I want to help people, but I felt like that was just, there's a lot of undocumented people who are coming to the country. But we had a terrible flood in North Carolina and some terrible fires. And I see the value or the purpose in that because many of those people were lucky just to get out alive. They don't even have a resident. It washed away or burned down. So I think the idea of putting no barriers to getting food assistance is a good idea.
I have a question, and we are supporters of the food bank, and maybe Robert can help me answer this, but it seems like if you're doing 650 families in a month, every month, steady state, whether there's SNAP problems or not, the average of 3 people, that's like 2,000 people
Yes,
you're
exactly.
feeding.
You're exactly right.
That means that of a population of Grove, officially is what, 8,000, 9,000? You're talking about more than 20% of our population. And what my curiosity is that I can see that happening in downtown Detroit where there's no opportunity, all the buildings are going away, the businesses are going away. But why a vibrant community like Grove? What is it here that, we have jobs, we have jobs going unfilled, there are people with money, there are all kinds of opportunities in Grove, Oklahoma. How is it that, if a community like ours can have such a big problem, what is it demographically that's happening that people are so insecure with their food?
Well, I think part of the answer is the age of our community. We have an aging community. I see a lot of people who come to the pantry seeking assistance who are elderly. And a lot of those older folks they are taking in their grandkids and their great-grandkids. Because they're not going to say no to their grandkids. So their households have grown. They've got their house paid for probably, but grandma's got a roof for the kids. So I think the age of that seek help are people who are trying to help other people, and they're older folks. And honestly, I don't mean to be disparaging or negative about it, but there are people who just really couldn't work. They just are not able to. say any more about that, but they couldn't keep a job. So there's that.
Are there food pantries in other neighboring towns?
There is one in Jay. It is open now. They were on Monday, the second Monday and the fourth Monday, but now it's the second Tuesday and the fourth Tuesday. And it's just for a couple hours, like from 9 to 12. So we're kind of it. And there are pantries. I've done some research in Ottawa County, but we have a lot of people who are on the fringes of Ottawa County that come to us from Fairland and Wyandotte and then Afton also.
Missouri, Northwest.
Yeah, they try to come from Missouri, but our policy there is to serve and refer. We tell people, you know, the 600 people that come in or 700 or whatever, they are repeat. They come in every month. Some of them come in every month. And that is what indicates there is a problem of food insecurity. It's not that they're starving. It's not that they're completely have no food in their house. It's just that they're afraid they're not going to have food. So we do address food insecurity. And then, like I said, some of these are repeat people, but I'm seeing more and more people I've never seen. And they're calling every day. What do I need to get food at the food pantry? It's never been like this ever.
I have a question. So you take food donations, you need that. You need money for expenses. Do you get more bang for your buck if we donated money for you to go to Walmart or wherever?
Well,
You know what I mean? Is it not that money?
I think I try to answer that. Yes, probably the answer would be yes. But some people just like the process of going and purchasing. They enjoy that experience. But I know, for example, I had to purchase. If it's not on the USDA list, let's say, for example, peanut butter. Peanut butter would be free if it was offered through USDA, but there oftentimes it's not available, and we would have to purchase it through the food bank. So one time, just recently, I purchased peanut butter because we had none through Harps, and it was like in the range of $460. It seems like a lot of money, but you know, it was 15 cases. Then I was able to get 15 cases from the food bank, and it was like $350 some odd. So yes, we can get a better deal from the food bank. Now the food bank has 3 different ways that they provide food. And, they have USDA, which sometimes that list grows and it fluctuates based on their contracts and other things that I don't really know much about. But so that's one thing. That's always free to us, and we can get usually up to 20 cases of whatever that might be, whether it's pinto beans or pistachios. All those kinds of things would be free. And then they also have donations, and their donations might be from the bottling companies or you know, Frito-Lay. So we might be able to get boxes or cases of those for pennies, like 64 cents to $1.64 for a big box of. And then they are going out of date. They've exceeded the amount of time they could be put on a shelf and sold. And then the other way is they've contracted with a wholesaler, so we can get pretty much everything we need. It's just going to cost us money. It might cost as much as $35 for a case of, say, fruit, which is probably, I would say, a double case, maybe 24 cans.
Pat, tell us how we can help as far as volunteering, as far as, you know, big volunteers coming in and helping you. What days do you need help? How can we as the community help you?
Well, right now, I would say we have a very robust volunteer program. We mostly have all the volunteers we need, but what we do need to do is 2 things. I think program where they could maybe sub for the volunteers that we have, so that we never are without the numbers that we need. So if everything's running smooth and all the volunteers come in, it's great. But if somebody's on vacation or somebody gets sick, and that happens to several people on the same day, we could really be in a tight spot. Another thing is we're needing to start building more people to help us pick up Walmart donations. It requires a pickup truck. It requires you to, and again, that would be something you could integrate and start working with, filling in for guys that are already doing it. But that's a need I think we're needing. We've got to start addressing. The other thing I'm doing, I'm trying to start a program called Pantry After Hours. And I talked to Brenda. She's going to volunteer and help me write thank you notes. That's one thing I've just been terrible at, is to follow up with things that people donate and just to let them know how much they're appreciated. So I think something like Pantry After Hours would allow us to do things like that. Maybe stock the shelves for the next day, roll paper or plastic bags, do eggs, get eggs ready for the next day. And so I'm experimenting with that. I have a couple that's been coming in, and it's quiet, and they can just come in and work a couple hours and leave. So just sometimes there's so much going on in a given day just to stop and do eggs or fill the bags and restock the shelves. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of too many things going on. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Well, like maybe after 2 o'clock, come in and work for a couple hours. I noticed like last night, it wouldn't take maybe an hour or two just to fill the sacks back up on the shelves. Work some eggs into cartons. Like when we get eggs from Walmart, sometimes those eggs are broken and you have to pick the ones. It's kind of a nasty job, but somebody's got to do it. Yes.
Do we have Meals on Wheels in this? I know it's not through the food pantry. I'm just trying to find out. Do we have Meals on Wheels?
I don't know what it's called. It's a senior center.
And that's good to know, because the senior center Meals on Wheels is one kind of program. This is not related to that. I want to make that distinction because food pantries have to collect the food to distribute. This is not cooking meals to take to people. Correct. And so, thank you for clarifying.
Pat, thanks for coming today. If you get in a bind and you need help, like last minute, if you have a contact at Rotary, they can send out a text and you would have help. So keep that in mind. No, seriously, because I mean, it happens all the time. People need an emergency helpers.
So
and
do you
we
have
show
like
up.
a phone, like a phone thing where you, phone chain.
So ironically enough, I was talking with Kim. Kim, would you like to come here just a second? No, okay. So she said, she and her husband own Timbered Inn. I'm sure you already knew that. She said if we could get a list to her with the cash, that she can order for you the items that you need at her cost. So think about that for a minute.
That's a good partnership.
I'm gonna make you come here. I'm gonna bring you the mic. Come on.
I get groceries on Mondays and or Wednesdays or Fridays. But if we're taking donation, there's no reason that you say I need a case of peanut butter that I can't find out what the cost is for our supplier and add it onto my orders, which is going to
question.
If I tell him what I'm doing, he'll sell it to me for 2 cents. He doesn't mark it up. 2 cents over what their cost is, but there's also no tax on it. So I would be, it wouldn't be a lot, but it would add up probably. My other question is, produce, do you only do non-perishable or can you take produce?
We can take produce. So, with that Feeding America program, that's really where we get our produce. Sometimes it's marginal, but we kind of pick the best, and then dairy, and also some meat from Walmart. Those are the things that we get.
I wondered because I always have produce left over.
Oh, I would love that.
You know, lettuce and things that go bad quickly.
Exactly.
Broccoli that I end up composting, my vermicompost. Because if I'm ordering for an event, I have to order by the case. So
Oh, yeah.
I have overage. And you're on my side of town. If somebody would come pick it up, or if I can drop it off, I would love to not feed my garden quite as often as I'm feeding it.
Send me a text or message or something on Facebook.
And just like that,
Yeah.
we help you out. We want to help you out. Pat, the other thing that we've done, we've taken up some donations for you at the back of the room. We have blue buckets at the back of the room. As you leave, please place a love offering in that for the food pantry, and we will present her with a check so that you can fill those shelves. All right?
I have one quick, it's a fun story, fun thing. So we have they call him the pig farmer, but his name is Bruce. And so all the things that we don't use, I just want to make the point, nothing goes to waste. And so we collect it, and he comes and picks it up, and he feeds it to his farm animals. And so he had these pigs, Miss Piggy and Beatrice, and so they're going to go to market, and so he's going to have sausage. We put most of her into sausage. We'll be able to purchase that at a small price, but it's going to be fun because that's a circle of circle line. But yeah, it's worked out really good.
Let's give Pat a huge round of applause for what she does for our community. So in closing, another large round of applause for Timbered In. Kim just found a solution for some food. Not only does she take care of us, but she also takes care of our community. So wow, I'm just enamored by all this. Thank you to our guests that were here today, our traveling Rotarians as well. Next week, we will not have a program because it's Thanksgiving. So with it being Thanksgiving, look around your table, look at each other, and what are you guys thankful for? I'm thankful for being healthy. I'm thankful for my family, and I'm also thankful for my Rotarian family. You guys just amaze me, just absolutely amaze me with the things that we do here. So, tables and chairs. Let's get back to work. Tables and chairs. Leave all the tables, stack those chairs, and we'll be told how many in just a moment, and put out 7 medal. And if you will stand, we will close with the 4-way test. Cindy Hefner, do we have a DPIL meeting following this? DPIL meeting following this meeting. Of the things we think, say, or do. Is it true?
Will be beneficial to all concerned.
And is it fun?